All my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas.
What's up guys, Smash Connoisseur here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I think the future of Smash will be and how I think it is going to change in 2024, because I think Smash could change a lot in this upcoming year. This year, I expect Nintendo to announce another console, and I think with another console comes another Smash title, obviously, and I think a new Smash game means a lot for the community, as I think a lot of people are starting to think that the meta is getting kind of stale and they don't like characters like Sonic or Mr. Game & Watch. So I think that a new Smash game could really spice things up, and I think that a lot of the young players could become the new top players in the next Smash game. I know that a lot of people think that there won't be another Smash game, or if there is another Smash game, maybe it will have far less characters or be far less big than Smash Ultimate was. And to be honest, I do think there will be another Smash game. Will it have more characters? I don't think so, but I hope so. But even if they reduce the amount of characters, I still think it could be a very, very good game if they just execute some things properly. A couple things that I would want in a new Smash game would be, one, probably a better story mode, because I didn't really like the World of Light that much, to be honest. And yeah, that was really just kind of a bit of a letdown, I'd say. And, you know, I think the cinematics made it seem way cooler than it really was. Also, the next Smash game should have better online functionality, because the online in Smash Ultimate is not very good, and everybody knows it. So if the next Smash game had rollback netcode or something like that to just clean up the online play, people would play way more online. And I think with new generation sponsors like Luminosity involved, I think the competitive scene for Smash could become really big in I don't know if in 2024, but when the next Smash game releases, I think it could become very, very big. So I think those are really big things for Smash also. I think that the next Nintendo console will be some form of new Nintendo Switch, where I think it won't really be a fully new console, but just a changed version of the Nintendo Switch. And I will talk about things that I would like in that, maybe in a different video. But for now, just things I would want for the new Smash game. I would want Squad Strike, because I think that's a really fun mode, and there's a lot of really fun little modes they have. They're only available offline. I would want those modes to be playable online or offline, and I think that would make the game a lot more fun. Also, I know a lot of players mod their games to get certain skins of characters that maybe aren't in the game, or just specific skins for their characters. And I think that, obviously Nintendo doesn't like when people do that. So I wish that in the next Smash, Nintendo would make it so you can purchase like additional skins if you want more skins for your characters, like maybe one that makes Diddy Kong into Dixie Kong and things like that, or makes Mario Metal Mario. I think those could be really cool, and I think people would buy them, because I think that would be cooler than just buying a Mii costume. No offense to Mii players. As far as the competitive scene goes, I really hope players like MKLeo continue to compete if there is a new Smash game. And I hope that the meta in the next Smash game is not as campy, and maybe it's a lot more aggressive and has players like Cola doing really well, because I think that's kind of the meta that I'm more entertained by personally. I'm also hoping for the next installment of Super Smash Bros. To have a better training mode, because I feel like the current training mode doesn't have very much flexibility in what you're able to do, and I think it would just help people to improve at the game at a quicker rate and be able to discover more things. So I think a better training mode would really be essential for the next Smash game. I would also maybe like a system where hazards can be turned on or off for specific stages rather than all the stages at the same time, because you could do, for example, stages like Pokemon Stadium 2, you obviously want to have hazards off, and things like Kalos Pokemon League, you want to have hazards off, because those stages just, the hazards are unplayable. But on something like Smashville, it would be cool to have hazards on, because you just have that platform in the middle that moves, and I think that makes the gameplay a lot more dynamic on that stage. So I think it's kind of stage to stage, and I think that's why you should be able to pick it, because otherwise sometimes events have tried to make a rule where you can have hazards on for some stages and then off for others, but people forget and they just leave it on, and then you have to restart and it's a whole mess. So I think they should just make it so you can turn it on or off for each specific stage that you want to. Lastly, I would hope that in the next Smash game, Nintendo gets more involved with the competitive scene and maybe begins hosting tournaments with pretty big pot bonuses. And obviously I know this is going to be kind of hard, but it's just my hope, because I think it would just make things so much better in the Smash community. Please leave your comments below on what you guys think that you would want in the next Smash game and what you think it will be like, and if you think it will be announced this year, or a new console will be announced this year, or if you think that it won't come for a little while. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Well, that's the end, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you.